Okay.
I didn't want to. Somebody else made me write it. I was like, okay, I'll just write it. So, yeah, that was my life for about
I'm
3
actually
days.
sitting in the training room right now and I'm looking again at the rocket boost. I thought I had it. I thought I saw it in this replay too, but I might be tripping.
Now there's a
Yes.
question from Omega Internal. He is working up the American carrier line. He's currently on the Tier 6 Ranger, and he's asking about which captain skills should be used. I'm just mentioning that right now. Let's talk about that after this replay is done. Does that work for you guys?
Sounds good to me. Yeah.
All right, because I want to focus on
I'm-
this, and I want to log
yeah.
into the game and kind of so people can see the game view and stuff, you know? Okay, so let's take a look. This is Rob's game in the Forest Sherman. He's very excited to be playing with it, as you can see, shooting guns. And it looks to me like you've got either Halsey or one of the does with the enhanced ammo loader.
No, I just took the gun loader skill.
Oh, just the
That's
gun
not-
loader skill. Okay.
It doesn't need it actually because it already reloads so quickly.
Yeah, I got the
You
reload
can-
down to like 1.3 seconds, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
Our base reloads 1.5,
Yeah.
so you can get it down to I think 1.3 with main battery mod.
I think that's what I did.
Yeah, it has the highest, it has the fastest base reload in the game of
Okay.
any main battery. Now, and it also has extremely high stat DPM. It has pretty good HE DPM. The only problem is that of course you're throwing 3 shells single turns, so accuracy is a little bit on the off side, but that's to be expected for single guns anyways.
Yeah.
The Sherman's a main issue. I think we've seen this before. It's just her large size and her relative sluggishness. She's by far the slowest of the tier 10 destroyers. Only does 33.8 knots. It also has like a 600, 700 something meter turning radius. Shit.
I'm really curious about the captain skills here because I neither see Survivability Expert and I don't see the Superintendent for the extra smoke either. So what is going on here?
Well, I put my Montana commander on here because that was a 20-point commander.
Okay, that's a battleship captain though. You still have separate destroyer skills.
Right.
Yeah.
And it already has skills for... This wasn't the first destroyer I had that commander on.
So,
okay.
what destroyer
what
was that
destroyer-
commander on?
Do you play without Survivability Expert?
Why are you playing a destroyer without? I mean, you don't need it on Sherman, but it's so nice to have.
Superintendent is
Don't
also
remember
nice to
what
have.
Superintendent
Destroyer I
is
had it
basically
on.
SI's
It would have been a
basically
it would have been a premium destroyer.
Mhm.
I guess I
SSCT
assume
says-
it's main battery expert, but I think that skill is so bad. Or
Well,
the
the
skill
skill's-
itself
it's
is
not-
not. I think the skill is overpriced. Like 5% reload for 3 points is hella expensive.
Okay.
Well, it's not just a 5% reload. It's also 10% boost to continuous AA damage. Not like that matters.
That is true.
Anyways,
Yeah. Who
That's
wants
what-
to
what
count
did I
that? Raise your hands in chat. Who wants to count 10% AA damage as valuable skill?
So anyway, how about we focus on the replay for a minute? Because I think there's a couple important things coming up. One is, you could be shooting the Napoli right now to get decaps, little XP and stuff. It's a risk if you do, but you could shoot, slow down, smoke, and whatnot. Since you don't have Superintendent, you don't have the luxury of just popping smoke and farming as much.
Yeah, you can't waste the smoke without it. Like it's the one destroyer that relies on smokes. Where I would actually spec Superintendent just because it has one less base charge as all the others.
yeah.
Also, you saw there the torpedo angle is very wonky on the Sherman, so
Yeah.
don't expect to make much in the way of torpedo hits.
Well, you get the occasional one. Sherman's torpedoes are 4 singles, 2 per side, and yes. Speaking of Napolis,
So right here,
shoot Sap. I would shoot
I
Sap.
was just good. That's why I paused it, because right here, Sap will do better. It'll pen the forward bow of the Napoli.
Also, you did get spotted here, and it was not the Napoli spotting you.
It was the Napoli. His detection was 7.1.
Yes,
The,
but
the Napoli did not
Napoli
pull
was-
out far enough to spot him there.
Oh, okay, maybe not. Maybe it's just a
There's-
coincidence.
No, there's a that's good. He fired his hydro. And also, I would stick with the HE because that Georgia doesn't have fire prevention. There you go. That's the instant fire.
Yep,
And especially from the looks of it, he doesn't look like that he has DCP either. So set the fire. That's good.
He just did, so now you can set him on fire again. I like this. Also, DCP or engine. I mean, you might as well. If you need to, you can get out in a hurry, but also your DCP then comes up again pretty quickly, instead of letting it sit here.
Yeah. Oh, also, Zach, if you don't mind pausing very quickly for a second.
Sure, you asked me to pause it when I'm drinking my dirty water. Okay, what's up?
So, I want you to take note of one small mistake that he made, if you could zoom out a little bit. Rob didn't spread his smoke out. That's a bit of a mistake, because here's the thing. If you spread your smoke out, you make yourself... Yeah. He didn't spread his smoke out a whole lot. There's only 3 pops. What that means is there's not a lot of space in which he can hide in and shoot from safety. Had he spread his smoke out a little bit more, he would not only be able to move around more freely in it, but it's also it's also less likely that any given torpedo salvo that's thrown into that smoke, and we know there's a destroyer nearby, because he got spotted before the Napoli poked around the island. So there's a Holland or another Gearing or something the other nearby.
So you guys understand, when he's talking about spreading out your smoke, what he's saying is you move forward at a quarter speed. Because if you move forward at a quarter speed, you are not detected, and you extend that smoke out farther. So, in a sense, what Shockwave would like to have seen happen is take these puffs and add another whole width of that right about here. Or even better, turning northward or something like that. The whole point is...
I would turn northward, honestly, with that smoke, trailing that smoke. Because here's the thing. That island is hard cover. You can use that if you get chased down by, like, let's just say that Napoli gets a sudden rush and cracks the brain. It's like, oh my god, destroyer in the smoke, gotta run it. He's faster than you are, but you'll see him coming. So you can use that island to, hightail it out of there.
And are you actually against it here? And here's my reasoning. For one, the Sherman fires so fast that it's easy to locate it in the smoke. So the biggest smoke only helps him if he gets torped, which he has the hydro to see the torpedoes way in advance. And the other reason is, like, he's the ship that is far forward. If he drags the smoke out, there's a high chance nobody's spotting anymore, because the battleships behind him are also concealed by the smoke, and then every line of vision is blocked. So I actually like that it's small here.
Well, the thing is, though, the Constellation back there, and there's also Seattle as well, that have, spotting lines mostly into half a feet, and there we go. That's the blind fire coming in. You saw that he took a small chunk of damage there.
Yep. So my thought is trailing the smoke north gives him an escape route if he needs it.
That's exactly what I was thinking as well, yeah.
Because as we've talked about, there's a destroyer nearby.
Yeah. And Sherman, you always have to have an escape route. Again, Sherman is by far one of the slowest. It is by far the slowest tier 10 destroyer. It only goes 33.8 knots base, 35.6 with a speed flag. Even a Daring will outrun it. So you need to be ready to get out of there the moment if there's even a chance that you will get chased out.
Yeah, it wasn't an efficient smoke, but hey, it's okay, SAT. He's got one more. Whoa! What are you doing here? Why are you opening up right now, Rob? What is the thought behind this?
I thought that I had the island to me, but I don't really remember.
No, it's good. He has the island between him and Georgia, so.
Okay.
But the problem is you still spot it because there's something else there.
So here's the thing. If you are still spotted at this point, that means that something has to be north of the B cap or north of the A cap. Right?
Not necessarily. It could just be sitting right between the islands in the B cap, like If you extend the Napoli line backwards, everything that is on this line would still spawn. Heck, it might even be the Napoli from this position. I don't know.
Well, there's a large smoke here, so that would make me think gearing. So
yeah, that might explain it.
So there's
that
a gearing over here. Okay. So I mean, you're going behind the island, but my concern is simply that, you know, that you are still going to be shot at and farmed, unfortunately. But it does tell you at least that there's a destroyer in Decap who's moved up a little bit, and he's not in the smoke.
And now you're using your detect build. It's good. It's good. Now you put some hard cover between you and the enemy team. That's important.
And you got a fire on the Georgia. So there's that. That's that.
Well, why are you turning back in? Don't turn back in.
He wants to torp.
Yeah, that's true. If you're gonna torp in a Sherman, you need to be going slow, and you need to turn out immediately, especially for torping, because her torp angles are only forward.
Well, and I agree with Patton. This is a good spot actually to stop, smoke, and shoot, because Georgia and Bismarck are both going to be lit by the constellation Marco Polo.
Yeah, but what is he gonna do if the Bismarck actually turns in and hydros? And this is his last smoke.
Melt him?
Comes back to the captain skills. I understand why he's not smoking here. I wouldn't want to use my last smoke in that situation either.
Well,
this is why, ladies and gentlemen, you have SI on your...
Here's...
Oh, looks like Bismarck might eat a couple torps.
He eats 2 torpedoes, actually, and here's the thing.
Very nice.
Now is an even better time to smoke, because you've got that hit. There's the Dirty Water song. And you know that he's DCP'd.
I would open water this.
Yeah.
I would have only smoked
risk with double
after you kill
open watering is I'm within the secondary range of the Georgia and the Bismarck.
The Georgia has no
so if I stay unspotted, that's less gunfire that I have to dodge.
Yeah, but
let's
now
take
you're wasting your last smoke for 7,000 damage.
I paused it here for a sec because I want you to look at this. The Georgia is on the other side of the island. So the discussion about open watering, it kind of makes sense, because at this point the Georgia really can't do much. Napoli might get a shot on you, but you just keep hitting W and he's behind the island. So I do agree too with Grunty saying if this is your last smoke, maybe you want to conserve that a little bit more. Hi, Conklin.
Smoke usage is important, especially in a destroyer we only have 3 smokes to use.
Right.
Especially in a farming destroyer, no less, such as this one.
So now you're kind of stuck to using the island for shots. You gotta hide behind the island. You can do that on the Georgia right here. There you go. There you go.
Smoke actually gets better now because the Georgia keeps pushing. It's kind of
Oh, almost took one up the butt.
Always use the hydro when you smoke up. Oh my god, that could... How did that one not hit?
Desync is a magical thing, my friend.
I don't think it's decent, just slid under his booty.
But yeah, you want to SAP this here, like the Georgia is already burning.
Yeah,
Zim, you could say streamer hacks, but this is not my replay. This is actually Robloxian. Look, mom, no hands.
Look, mom, no hands. Here's a Sherman. I think one of the things I like about the Sherman though is the turrets. Like they look like they have little cat ears on them. It's kind of weird, but it's also very interesting.
Hex by extension. Yeah, because he's like, I'm gonna send this to Zap. And Hawk Rider, dude.
Yeah,
that means a lot, man.
I don't know why you're not using Zap. Like you would be doing huge amounts of damage to Georgia right now.
I was trying to set him on fire.
You almost already had burning.
You already had a purple fire ticking on him. You didn't really need to go greedy for the second fire. You might have actually killed him there with the sap, or brought him down low enough where a shot from the Marco Polo might have finished him.
So the point is, if he gets on fire once, pop the sap, and there you go. Hawk Rider, dude, that means a lot. You've watched my YouTube vids before. Thank you, man.
If you get such a good angle, like it's always also a consideration if it's even worth getting the first fire, if you should just use your SAP.
And as I suspected, there was in fact a destroyer in the middle. Holland. There's the Hollands. who's just gone spotted. I don't think he's been spotted the entire game, so to speak.
It was
Hey,
spotted briefly,
Hawk
but
Rider.
earlier, but
Hawk Rider, please, by all means, send me replays of your games too if you want, man. I'd be very happy to give you some feedback. There's a guy in the forums who is just started venturing back into randoms after a disastrous start and doing co-op only. I don't know if I'll have time today, but we'll do his replays probably on Sunday.
I wonder who it is.
yeah, Ben, that was actually my idea. What I was thinking of doing there.
Now,
What
one
were
of
you
the
thinking
great
of doing?
things- here's
Like,
one of the best things about it.
He's saying I could probably rush the Holland.
Yeah, you could, but why did you shoot there?
I wanted to bait him into shooting at me.
That's a bit of a mistake. No, you want
Why?
to get intentionally detected by him first, then he'll open the engagement. Because at that point, you know, he's locked in, and you have leverage. So by shooting here, he has the ability to say, okay, I'm going to open the distance. I'm going to keep this guy spotted. Now, of course, nobody can shoot Rob right now. Nobody's within range. But here's the thing. Now that Holland is free to torpedo, and he's free to just bait you and kite you and you know, do as he pleases because he's opened the engagement on you first, technically speaking. So you want to avoid baiting people, especially, you know, torpedo-focused DDs like that. That's never going to work.
I want to say this, just so you guys understand, like, we see a lot of high-end players will do this, and they say, and they'll stream and they'll do this, or whatever, they'll say, I'm shooting to find out if I'm detected so I know who's there nearby. The problem with that logic is, when you are detected, you are telling the enemy where you are, how much hit points you have, where you're heading. Those three things. And in a situation like this right now, you don't want the enemy to know those three things. I mean, you're healthy, so that's good, but you don't want them to know you're healthy in a sense. You don't want them to know that you're heading in this direction. By shooting, you're telling the Holland, and SAT says exactly, the Holland could just run. The Holland can kind of figure out where he wants to go with it. So the decision to give up your concealment, it's a very risky decision. So generally speaking, and I don't mean to put you down, Rob, or anybody else, but generally speaking, I would never shoot my guns just to see if I'm detected. I mean, I've got a 69% win rate. I never do this in destroyers.
You might do it at the end of a battle when you're winning and you want to figure out where the last destroyer is, and the game is pretty much over.
Yes.
But that's about it.
Yes.
Here's the thing about you said
Nice.
You wanted to bait him in to shoot you. The bait is only gonna work if the enemy destroyer thinks that he can take you and win you. You shot, and now he sees you're a full HP Sherman. He's never gonna shoot you because he's never got a chance to kill you.
Correct. So what you've baited him into doing, Rob, is you've baited him into torpedoing you and running. So now is when you want your hydro. Oh, look, it's at 120-minute cooldown. So failing that, as soon as you go dark here, what you need to do is zigzag. You need to turn 90 degrees to your right, because otherwise you're probably going to eat a face full of torps. At least that's what I'm thinking at this point. Okay? Just putting that out there. Let's take a look. Well, yeah, he can just farm the Napoli, which now he's doing a little bit of. Yeah, sure.
But what I would do here is, you know exactly where that. I mean, here's the other thing. Here's my problem with also shooting to, you know, check where the enemy, check if you're protected. You already know where the Holland is. You saw it on the minimap this last night. So
And it was pretty
it's really
recent,
easy
too.
to tell. Yeah. So you know more or less where he's gonna be. It's not like you're clueless about that.
Now this is a good turn. It's almost like you listened to me. You turned 90 degrees. Love it. And look, gearing spotted. Okay. Oh, there's the Holland. SAP, I like it. Guns, 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 guns. Come on, what are you waiting for? You're detected. You can't go dark, so there you go.
Oh, no.
I would change speed or direction or both here because you're probably going to be torqued by the Holland.
Yeah, the only reason he goes at that angle to you is if he wants to launch torps.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Hydro now.
One of the great things about the Sherman in particular is that it is also very good at fighting enemy destroyers, and that's largely due to the fact that it melts them.
What's sap? Sure.
You have a really good DPM, yeah, but at the same time, like, it's only really good if you have the only one for it, because it takes an insane amount of damage in return from other ships, as it cannot dodge. Like, it's too sluggish, it's too slow.
Yeah. So the thing about that previous engagement, SSAT says in patent too, he had, if I could have sworn, he had SAP loaded. He just chose not to fire for a sec, kind of like a deer in headlights moment. You came off with the win anyways, right? Holland died because he took a 2v1. I think the Z52 was helping out with that.
Yeah. I would still be cautious here. I would still be very cautious here. That gearing will outspot you, and the Atago can easily blast you in the face. And that's one thing you want to try and avoid.
There's two things working for you right now. One is that the Atago is moving to the other side of the island. And two is the gearing, if he's still in his smoke, you can surprise him. But that's the key. Is the gearing still in his smoke? Let's find out.
He's not spotted. So that tells me
I saw
that he's not spotted.
I saw shells coming from the smoke earlier. So he might still be in smoke. Oh, nope, he's out now. There he is.
Those are Atago torpedoes, I think. But also, another great thing about Sherman, fast turret traverse. So if you see a destroyer on the other side, it's like, oh, flip, and here you go.
She's a very comfortable ship, absolutely, yes.
If a bit one-dimensional and a little bit clumsy, but yes.
Right.
I'm not sure what this gearing decided to take a gunfight, because now the Z-52 spotting him, and now you're both shooting him.
I think the gearing's just giving
I mean, the particularly good accuracy.
Honestly, the gearing probably didn't realize the Z-52 was there and spotting.
Now, Rob, here's another thing that you do, which I sort of don't like. You're over-adjusting your aim. Now, when you do that, now you're throwing your shells all over the place, and all of a sudden it's like, so if you got a lead, if you got an aim, and you're hitting your target, then you just go for it, and you just, keep that lead and you keep that aim. You don't necessarily need to change it every single time you shoot your guns, because then you end up missing more shells than not. And now the Atago's got a beat on you. Unfortunately,
well, now you could funny dumb launch your torpedoes, and I would launch them right at the corner. Never mind.
Yeah, you just kill it with SAP.
Well, you can kill with SAP, sure.
Or HE.
Or HE.
You like your fires, don't you?
I mean, I said 8 of them.
Guys, hello? Fires are guaranteed damage. I mean, come on. Alright?
It's damage over time versus damage immediately, so you just need to decide which matters more to you at that particular moment, right?